This is Chuck Larson. You're watching the CARC channel on YouTube.
Deep in the forests of North America, a creature is said to exist. A creature that people are encountering. With far too many reports to ignore, there are elements of truth behind these accounts that mankind can no longer ignore.
Breaking news out of Texas, Bigfoot is real.
Could a breeding population of large, upright, hairy hominids really exist in North America?
Or is there something more paranormal at work here, deep in the woods?
If just one footprint, one wood knock, or one howl is real, then man's understanding of primate evolution would be changed forever. Join the Catskill Appalachian Research Collective as they delve further into the mysteries of Bigfoot and other paranormal phenomena through the eyes of witnesses, investigators, critics, and skeptics. Join us as we look to discover what lurks from behind tall trees.
Ladies, we've been here in a while. We've been a little bit. I think our last show was in August. Of course, it's Gwen and Carey, and tonight we have with us Kathy. I'm not even going to pretend to butcher your last name.
That's all right.
I had looked at it 30,000 times and was like, I don't even know how to say that.
Yeah,
I'm not even going to pretend. So tonight is going to be a little different for everybody watching. We are actually going to take live calls. So at some point during the show, you're going to see a phone number come across the bottom. Feel free to call in and ask us what you'd like to ask us instead of commenting in the comment section here. So how's everybody doing?
Good.
So Kathy, tell us a little bit of how did you get started with Bigfoot? How long you've been doing this?
Oh, I got started because because of my husband. I met him and he started telling me crazy things, which I assumed he was telling me these things because he wanted me to break up with him, because he wanted me to think he was crazy. So I thought he was saying things that he knew that were going to be unacceptable to me because I was pretty much a, pretty conservative type person, But no, it turned out like he told me, he said, if you hang around with me long enough, you're going to see UFOs, and I thought, oh, that's unacceptable. You can't say these kind of crazy things. And lo and behold, one day, all the things that he was talking about were coming true.
Did you think he was crazy?
I did not think he was crazy. I thought he was just like making up stories to break up with me, but he didn't have the guts to break up with me. You know what I mean? That type of thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I don't know what that says about my psychology, but I observed him and he would make rational decisions. Well, most of the time, for like the majority of the time. So I saw he was capable. He didn't seem delusional, but it's like, what was up with this? Anyway, so I just kind of like, okay, whatever. I'm going to listen to this stuff. That's fine, But then when he started saying, he'd have these ideas about where to go in the woods. He says, it's got to be between a mountain and a water, and it's got to have these elements. And he'd go look on the maps and try to locate things where he thought they would be. And then also he'd go by feeling, which is an intuition, and he would say, look at that mountain. Don't you have chills? And I'm like, no, I don't have chills. It's like, yeah, we were complete opposites in that way. And then he would be talking about this on YouTube and making videos. I said, well, you can't just go and say, this is going to happen or this is an area for it. You have to go and ground truth. You have to go out there and you just can't make it up in your mind. You have to hear it, see it, experience it, And so, like the first trip out, oh my gosh, it was, first off, he was a bit of a bit I guess, diligent about, he wanted us to make no sound whatsoever. And so I couldn't wear shoes. I had to wear water shoes, and I couldn't step on a stick. I had to be quiet. I did not trust his navigation skills. So I would sticks along the way, and he would hear him and kind of get after me about it. And by the time we got to the place we were at, I'd had it. Like, I did not think this man could get us back out to the road. There's no way. We've been hiking for probably, I don't know, it seemed like 3 hours. On a path. This is just going through the woods by intuition, not GPS. So I had issues with that, And so anyway, so yeah, it's like we got to the spot where he felt it was good to stay, and he was there with his buddy. It was the three of us, and so I just like, okay, I'm gonna go and follow this little stream to get away from you guys, because not only did he date 3-hour hike in, but then he wanted crispy bacon. He wanted me to make some crispy bacon, but on but we didn't have the proper BTU stove. And so he was all like, so I spent my time when I want to go explore the woods cooking bacon, and that's just not in my nature. And then the bacon I cooked, it was all like, it's not crispy. And then he says, well, I can make it crispy. And I was like, oh, okay, you guys make your bacon. You know what I mean? I'm going, it was a bacon divorce. I said, I
think he was testing your relationship.
Oh, absolutely. First, he wants crispy bacons 3 hours into the woods. I put up with a lot. Anyway, so I walked away from it all. I was like, okay, but knowing it's very easy. It was like early May, around May 4th, May 6th. So it's like the leaves were tiny on the tree, so you could see throughout the woods. And so I went up and I was following the stream, and I was taking photo of the moss, and I just loved every little thing. There was a little frog, or there was a little something, and I just enjoyed myself. I enjoyed the beauty. It looked so untouched, and I got so much out of that feeling. I had such a love for the land and the trees, and it's so beautiful because I'm from Texas and it's dry and hot. So this was just a gorgeous landscape. Anyway, so I'm sorry if I'm going on, but
no, go ahead.
so I was walking, and I saw a footprint. I saw a footprint, which is odd, a footprint in the sand by the little stream or the brook. And so I thought, okay, what looked like a footprint. And I said, that's strange. Maybe it's a, baby moose or something. I didn't see any other moose tracks or anything like that. So, okay, I let that go because whatever, and then the next thing I know, out of the corner on my right-hand side, I saw the torso, the arms, and the upper thighs of a black figure running, but I couldn't see the face. Like pure black. And so my heart instantly went like a freaking like a scared rabbit, just like, beating really. I had no control over that. That was just pure instinct to be scared. And then the other part of me is like, oh, come on. You're silly. You're out in the woods. You scared yourself. You're not going to go back scared to the guys. I'm going to go on. I said, that was probably just my hair, although my hair does not run like this. Even further ridiculous.
Not unless you got some magic hair going on, girl.
No, it's hairspray, not magic. And so I kept on going. And so I thought, you know what? I'm not going to let that. I'm not going to be scared. That's for other people, And so I kept on going on and doing my thing. And then I came to this bend in the stream where I could see ahead, and there was really nothing. One tree was down that was dead, but it was, and then I heard the whistle, and I can't do a whistle, but that it's almost there you go. Something like that. He did it. And I could see in front of me, there was nothing unless we were 3 hours in, there was no cars parked in the gravel pit where we had parked. And so, so then I knew wasn't a bird. I wasn't alone, there was something intelligent there. And And the guys that I was so pissed off at, oh, I was missing them now. You know? And so, okay, so I thought, I just stood there and it's like, oh crap, what am I gonna do? And so I thought, you know what? And this was the hardest thing at the time to do. I said, okay, I had to turn my back on it and kind of just slowly walk back, retrace my steps back to the guys with the bacon. And, that was it. Then I realized it kind of put in perspective. It was like, yes, I ignored the actual figure that I saw running, out of my stubbornness. And then it was almost like, hey lady, now do you believe me? You know what I mean? Because it just whistled right in front of me. I didn't see anything, but I definitely heard it. And there had been other things actually on that way back on the way in. There was a knocking from a tree that I couldn't see. There wasn't a woodpecker on it. There was nothing. There was just noise coming from this tree. Anyway, so another odd thing that I had ignored. So anyway, but luckily on my way back, Michael had followed me. But then he was all dressed in a ghillie suit because we were supposed to be so secretive coming in.
It reminds me of somebody I know.
That spooked me. And then then even though I wanted to see him, I was like, whoa, what are you doing? And then he showed me, I guess he had, I don't know exactly what I said to him. I think he actually got this on camera maybe, but
we have a video of it.
Yeah, we have a video of it. And he showed me, like, I guess he has some kind of a pistol or some kind of, I don't know what you call it, a gun or pistol or whatever. And I was like, cover that up. No. Because after I saw how fast it ran, you would stand no chance if it wanted to take you out. You would have been in slow motion in comparison to it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just like, let's do that. And then he wanted to interview me. And I wanted to get back to he wanted to interview him because he didn't understand what's going on. I said, and he was like, is it a bear? I was like, no, it's like, let's go, you know what I mean? But, oh my gosh, it's like, talk about, well, it was good that he did it, but I didn't feel like talking about it at the moment. Because I had a lot to digest there.
It's a lot to process.
It's a lot to process when in an instant, everything, I think I still am a pretty rational person, but I was pretty much agnostic. I didn't believe in fairy tales or, or anything like that. I thought, okay, when we die, we're just, we just decay and that's it. I no longer have those beliefs. I was shown that there's something quite different going on, impossible going on, and it forever changed me. So anyway, so we head back and we stay the night and I heard what I thought was, which didn't make sense. There was footsteps. It sounded like something was walking around us. And I thought, oh, it's a moose. You know what I mean? A moose is circling around us. You know what I mean? And which also doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense at all. And so the next day,
did you ever, when you had your experience or when you actually saw that footprint, did you ever tell them about it?
I did.
Have them look at that?
I did, but here's the thing. I wasn't really with it because we had back at the camp, I did not take the tape. I had brought tape to mark things. I thought I'm going to put some tape and I'll put a stick. But when you're in the moment, just don't think about it, and I just wasn't really ready.
I actually think we have a question.
Oh, he says that's what caused the rapid heartbeat. Yeah, definitely seeing one caused
the adrenaline dump.
Yeah, the adrenaline dump. And then also I wasn't really, it was kind of amazing because that wasn't the first, I walked around the area. That wasn't the only footprint I saw. There was one actually with toes. And then, but was disoriented kind of in the woods, and so I didn't really mark it. Everything kind of looks the same. That's the hard part. But then it's like you're so tired. I don't know. You're just not thinking straight. If I had to go and do it again, it would be different. But you would have to have like a camera 360 degrees and on all the time, in order to capture anything. But yeah, it was like saying the next day when we got up, yeah, honey, I know I was there.
I'm loving this commentary with the both of you. This is fabulous.
So anyway, so at some point the next day, you know, it's daylight, and I was like telling these guys, look, because I was kind of like running around like they could be here or they could be there, and blah 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 blah. You know, trying to tell them my experience. And we get back, we're sitting there, and then we like no wind, you know, early May, so it's spring. And then what we hear are the sounds of trees crashing down. We can't see them, but I mean, like if you ever heard almost like a tree exploding and then falling down, we probably heard it. Probably, what do you think? 5 or 6? Yeah, 5 or 6, just going around. In which it made it, because there's such tall trees there. It made you think we're not safe, you know. But we could never find any. I mean, not that I walked too far. I didn't want to stray too far after my experience. So it was just like, okay, we should probably leave, you know. And I believe Jason, who was with us, your buddy there, he also saw kind of a shadow thing. He hadn't told us that about until like that morning after I told about what I saw, you know.
Peeking behind the tree. Yeah,
something like peeking behind a tree. I also kind of saw a shadow like above just briefly above a tall tree stump. And then we also had very strange, like it's almost as if there was something mimicking other animals, like inappropriate sounds. Like it's an animal, like it's an owl, but it's not quite the right call of an owl. Yep. Or then we hear not a coyote, because you heard how the coyotes will howl or yip like that. But just a dog out in the middle of nowhere barking. So sounds that were not, and the timing of it is like very, very unnatural, almost like a communication between one and another.
We actually have that audio clip.
Oh, do you?
Brendan's telling me he has that audio clip. So,
oh, cool.
See if we can do that. I don't.
Okay, he's uploading it. But anyway, it was like I'm just kind of reliving this whole thing, you know. So no, it was something else, you know. So yeah, I don't know even know what else am I missing out of that. Oh, he saw the tracks too.
And we did stay another night.
We stayed another night, yeah.
That was about it.
That was about it. So, but
so was that your first experience that made you a believer?
Yes. And then upon waking up, I was like saying, I said to myself, it came to me, these are spirits of the mountain, and they've been here
a very long time.
Very long time. That's what I woke up.
Okay, let's take a listen to this audio clip. I believe it's of what you were just talking about. With the,
yes. Whoa. You did it again.
I heard that. Look at Luna, man. She's getting excited about it too.
Yep.
She's also looking down the road.
Yep.
Something is mimicking this. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not normal for animals to respond to you like that.
Well, what if it's people?
We know it's not, because it follows us up into the woods.
That's true. And there's at least 2 individuals.
Something is mimicking this. It's not.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. No,
that was amazing.
The things we've heard, and at another time on that same location, we went with a couple, and we heard that, you heard that whoop, and only the women heard it. The men did not. So
Wow.
you have these very strange and very playful type of interactions, so yeah, that was my introduction.
Now, I'm just asking because I kind of want to feel validated a little bit. From that moment, what was it like for you? Was it, let me just back up. When I first saw my first Bigfoot, which before that, I could have cared less about Bigfoot. If they found it, that would have been cool. If they never found it, whatever. And then I saw one, and it has just overtaken my entire life. Do you find that to be the same experience for you?
I feel like I have been forever changed, and I'm pretty grateful for it because it's led me down a spiritual path, actually. Absolutely. There's a lot of things have changed. I've experienced such very strange things, very highly strange events. And there's a certain connection you have with the land, you know what I mean? And the environment in which you find these things, and that you are kind of blessed to have this kind of like connection to something that not a lot of people do. So it's like, I feel very, I feel lucky, and I do want to learn more. And my focus is actually on communication, because I want to connect, and have some more of those strange experiences. But yeah, it's life changing. It really is. I mean, I know that probably sounds a little strange, but like you said,
not in this room, girl.
I was gonna say, not with us. It does not sound strange whatsoever.
I'm glad.
We get hyped still hearing something. The adrenaline just comes. It doesn't matter how many times you have an experience with us.
Yeah.
I'm not going to speak for Gwen, but I'm pretty sure she feels the same way.
Oh, absolutely.
It doesn't matter. Every single time it happens to us, again, you always get an adrenaline rush. You always are like, did you hear that? And then it's phenomenal. It's a great experience. And I really wish more people took the opportunity to open up and go sit in the woods. I called my husband. He doesn't call it anything. He's one talking about his dang ghillie suit now, but because my husband owns one of those too. And I just wish they would go by that intuition, and maybe just women have it a little bit more than men do, but just go and sit and listen to the woods and listen to the forest, and you'd be amazed at what comes of that experience.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I just for like an example of the strange type of things, we did an offering, because I did some research, and I was trying to look up, and the closest I could get to is either like a like South American shamanic type traditions, or like I said, like the Mexican Day of the Dead type of tradition. And so that was kind of like the thing I went by, because it's really kind of hard to understand what to do.
Right.
But you've heard in the Bigfoot communities you do offerings. So, okay, so let's try that. So and this is another great story. So we went with my friend, who she's very intuitive, like she's almost like a psychic level type person. And we went to the gravel pit, and she was like, had her dowsing rods and things like that. And well, actually how it really started was, let me back it up. How it started was that it started with Michael. We were going to go Bigfooting, and so he was kind of mentally connect and try to foresee what was going to happen. And so he drew this cool picture of what, a Bigfoot, and then of me, and then a car, and then actually my friend in the car, and all these type of things. And so I thought, and I was kind of like, okay, you did a nice drawing. That's cute. Let's go. And so what happened was, we went there, and we were sitting by the fire. Michael was already either asleep or headed out, and my friend and I were by the fire. And as traditionally had been, as you know, when they can walk, you can't see them, but they'll walk close to you and you'll hear the crunch of the leaves, but then there will be nothing there, as if like a ghost, right? And that's the way it had been doing for a long time, but I just never said anything. But because my friend was there, I said, well, I can't be rude. So I said, because she got scared because she heard it and she was going to get up and go. And I said, no. I said, and even though I couldn't see them, I knew they were there. And so I said, okay, Annie, these are the forest spirits, and they're very nice, and I just so I just kind of introduced him, even though I didn't see anything. But so she stayed, but her impulse had been to get in the car, just as his drawing predicted.
Yeah.
She wanted to get in the car because she was scared, but I told her, don't be scared, and so that kind of went from there. She had the dowsing rods, and so I just started, I don't know what I had on, but we started asking questions, and it was just hey, I'm Kathy, and this is, blah, blah, blah. And I asked them questions like, because we were just going by the dowsing rods, and so, but there were answers coming in, and one was like it was over 200 years old. And what was the other kind of questions? Oh, and I asked a question. I said, do you know what's in our minds? Do you know what we're thinking? And the answer was yes. And I said, and you still like us, because that was a question. It's like, oh my gosh, how could you like us if you know what's in our heads? And she said, my friend, who's kind of psychic, she says she heard laughter in her head, and it was like, yes. So I know this is a little bit out there, but it's what happened. And so then, and you can just say, okay, well, it's dowsing rods. Am I really trusting my friend? Well, yes, I'm trusting my friend. But then I looked up, and about, I don't know, maybe between 12 and maybe 14 feet tall, I saw two red, what looked like almost like alien eyes, and I thought, and we're out in the middle of nowhere. There are no lights anywhere because we're out where there are no lights. And I'm like going, what is it? Is a recorder on? What is causing this reflection? And I'm looking at it and I'm just puzzling. How is that happening?
Right.
And then I thought, well, maybe it's my tiny little red light on my headlamp that's making, like that. And then it blinked. The eyes blinked.
Oh.
And when I looked at the eyes, it's like they were red, but it was like self-illuminated. So it was almost like had this kind of liquid type quality to it. And that's when once again the heart was beating in the chest. And I actually felt like I don't mean to sound ridiculous, but it was kind of a shock to me, very much a shock. And I felt like if I looked at it too long, that my legs were going to buckle. Seriously, my knees were going to buckle, and I could not look at it. I just couldn't look at it because that's going beyond,
Right.
Way beyond anything I've ever experienced. So I was just like very freaking okay, because that's like, okay, so it's one thing to hear these answers with dowsing rods, and because you can take it with a grain of salt, right?
Right.
It's an entirely different thing when you have eyes blinking at you that stand,
Yep.
14 feet tall. And so then I was all like first off, I was very polite. I was like, I was very polite. It's like, well, thank you. You know what I mean? And I said, can we come back here? I also apologized for our first event over there. I'm sorry, because I was worried to the degree of when I am walking on the moss, am I messing up their areas? Do they want this to be pristine?
Yeah.
I basically asked permission
to
come back again, and the answer was yes. So that was another big event. I have a drawing. I did a little painting of it somewhere. But, and then because we had both put a food offering. Now this was I was running late, so I just grabbed an Italian
The
sandwich.
bacon.
He had salami, no bacon.
Oh.
But it was like, so okay, we're out in the middle of the woods. You got bears, you got coyotes and all that kind of stuff. So we leave it there. We leave an Italian sandwich and stuff as an offering. And then we leave. And I think we come back in like 3 weeks or something like that, either 2 or 3 weeks. And it was still there.
What?
Yes.
What?
That's weird. The sandwich was still there. And now when I didn't really research. I guess if you call watching videos researching, then I did research. But I was looking up Day of the Dead type of things, and I watched a documentary in which like they had an interview with the family member who was leaving things like the food for the Day of the Dead for their departed ancestors, and they say that if you like they'll leave a Coke there capped. Oh, here's the I'll show you the drawing in just a second. That it takes away the flavor, like because the spirit takes the food. But there's been multiple times where we leave a food offering in the woods, and we have trail cam on it, and then it's like we come back. It takes a very long time, like nothing, like the animals are not touching it, and that's bizarre.
Wow,
that is very bizarre.
Weird.
Because you think something, coyotes, bear, something would go into that.
It took a long time. So I don't.
That's a big drawing.
Which is this is it, I guess.
That's the one.
Is it this side?
Yep.
Okay, so he did this picture. I guess that's the Bigfoot. Is this the one, hon? I don't think this is the one.
Yeah, it is.
Where's the car?
I don't know.
I think no. This isn't the one, but this is a really good one. Was it this? No. Anyway, but it's similar to this. So he'll get an idea of what's going to happen, and then he'll do a drawing. And then this is really fun. Now, I don't recall a guy with a sword and an axe coming out. So he's not 100% accurate.
Awesome drawings, though.
They are awesome drawings. Now he's really talented.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
You should sell those.
I should make him bake some bacon, right?
Make it crispy.
Yeah.
So do you do anything besides the food offering? Do you do like any stones or anything else that?
I do. I usually gather things that are meaningful, that are kind of more natural, that have more meaning. Like, let's say if you have a garden, take them some of your tomatoes or whatever and things like that, or whatever you have in the garden. Take them something like that. I like to take them flowers. I like to take some candy, some sweets, and we've had, and in honor of like the indigenous area here in Maine, we'll do sweetgrass, and then sometimes sage, and sometimes we had a special request through Michael had a dream of I think a beaver that swam up to him in a dream and turned into like this Native American man. And what was it like? He said, take cattails for the Thunderbird. That was the message in his dream. So, okay. So let's say you have a dream like that. So what do we do? Next time we go, we're going to take cattails,
right.
And do that. And so we did, and we had taken, and I love this story because it's really meaningful, because I just love nature. And so we chose this other spot, and we took this long route. He always chooses a very hard way to go where there's no path, and you're like having to go through stuff. And I had researched somewhere online that like the 2 X's like that, or like almost like that, is kind of like the sign of a Thunderbird, And so as we're walking, I'm seeing, oh my gosh, we have 2 huge signs of the Thunderbird in birch bark of logs that have fallen down just naturally in the sign of a Thunderbird. So we walked past that. He didn't even see it. You know, it's like, oh my God, this is like a 10 by 10 here. And so we walk all the way, we find a rock, a big boulder, I guess. And then we go find this little cave spot, and we leave the offering of the cattails, of sweetgrass we burn, and we kind of like do a little prayer or whatever, just like a little connection, And so we do that, and then we head out. So we spend the night in the gravel pit in the car. We just car camped. And so as soon as I got out, woke up, and I looked up out of the car, I saw 2 vultures flying wingtip to wingtip in perfect formation, and it followed the path that we had taken up that hill. And and if you ever see vultures, they're never wingtip to wingtip. They're kind of like hanging out at their different times. They're not like blue angels flying in formation.
No, they're pretty much a solitary bird.
Yeah. And so for that time, so in that's when you know that you have connected, because they give you the clues. Like I don't know if it was that trip or another trip, but you'll hear the little rock clacks, and they'll do it at a certain time. Like we mentioned, because I don't know whether I said it or he said it. I think he said it. He said, yeah, we should leave something, or we should go up to that little hill, or do something, that same place. And there was a rock clack, and he didn't want to go because he was so tired. I said, no, you got to hold your word. You said you're going to do it. You got to follow through.
Right.
And then on the way down from that, he had been wanting to find something cool for his nephew, and he found a moose shed.
Oh wow!
So, yeah. Wow.
So it's like that little rock clack.
You found the matching set of moose.
The matching set, that because you found one the previous day. Mm-hmm. So here there's a little connection. Here is the Bigfoot, the Earth Spirit, the whatever, the connection, communicating and listening and giving you clues. Now, what's not fun about that? It's like,
that's amazing.
Yeah. I know. And it's so special. And at that same time, that same trip, I was talking to his nephew, and I was trying to tell him about this stuff. I said, you can't see them, but one could be right behind you, and I take a photo, and there's a little orb above him and behind him. So
lights, we've had some encounters with some lights in the woods, Carey and I have. And I've had some strange lights above our house over the last few months. And do you think there's a correlation between these said lights and Bigfoot?
Yes. It's like spirit. Spirit can show up in a little ball of light. I've had that at the house. Come just like I'm coming home. It's dark. You know how it is in Maine at a certain time. And like I have to walk to the house, and I see this, like, I don't know, like bluish white or purple ball of light, just like walk, maybe like, I mean, not walk, but it floated like 24 feet, 25 feet, whatever, right in front of my house. So
tell them about the UFO. So the big cloaking one. Remember the UFO, and then we saw the cloaking Sasquatch by the pond.
The cloaking Sasquatch by the pond.
Remember the huge giant one?
Yeah.
Remember the UFO?
Yeah, it was at the same time as the same location, but was it the same?
It was earlier.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay, good thing he's here. Okay, so another spot, just right in the same area. This is so crazy. So we had he was doing his didgeridoo, and he's doing that as part of a thing of, we do offerings. He does music, drumming, that type of thing, to kind of get their attention, I guess. And so he's doing that. And then I see what can only be like, I think it was 4 lights, 4 lights at a like a 45-degree angle, and it's like just going slow and then no noise whatsoever, and it's huge, like just above treetops, and it's like going, and then the trees, and then it's gone. And we have this little pond there with clear all the way around it because it's a pond, and it's gone. And so I'm just like going, that's a UFO. And he's playing his didgeridoo, so I just kind of just start laughing because, oh my God, this is like, okay, what next? So I was having a good time, just like, okay, this is crazy. I'm just going to go with it,
Mm-hmm.
and so then it's like, after he stopped, I told him about it. He stopped, and of course, I didn't pick up a video camera, because I'm not with it, but I wouldn't be able to catch it anyway. But so we're looking kind of like through the trees onto the pond, which is lit, it's the evening. But you still have that sun reflecting off of it. And so that's really the time to look when they're going between trees, if you want to catch a glimpse of them. And so my husband actually saw it before I did, because I wasn't really even, I don't know, I wasn't even really looking for it. He was actively and told me about it. And so I looked, and oh my gosh, he's right. It's like what I saw was huge, very, very tall. And it went from one tree to the next, and then it's gone. You know how they slip between the trees and then they disappear. And it was probably similar size as to what I saw earlier with the red eyes, definitely over 12 feet or whatever. Because, and he knows this because he stayed there at the thing, and he told me to go down there for scale, for size. So, because I'm 5'5", down there to the tree where the Bigfoot was.
He was offering you his tribute.
Yeah, basically, I guess. Well, he needed scale, and then fry up that bacon, right? So yeah.
Just to let everybody know, we're going to open up the phone lines. There's the number at the bottom of the screen. Call on in and join us live. Go ahead. You continue.
So he camped, I think, up by the actual campsite, but I decided to go camp more by the pond and away, because when you're
on your hammock on the same tree, the thing would disappear.
I know. I stayed in the hammock just right there, and I did have an experience that night. Lucid dreams, you can call them, or that's where they can really easily connect with you. So it was it was something else for sure. And that's been a fantastic place. So I mean, I've had many experiences there, including like I did another little tribute, because there was wild blueberries growing by the side of the pond. And so I, kind of in gratitude, and I do everything in sincerity, because this is very special.
Right.
And so I grabbed some blueberries, and I put them on this mossy rock where I'd already had experience there before. And then I said, well, thank you. And just did my little thing that I do. And when I put it down, what I felt like the whole earth moved up, which was bizarre, because I know it was a feeling of movement within me. But I know the earth could not have possibly moved. Right. And at the same exact point in time, a coyote howled.
Wow.
The same exact point in time.
Too. It felt like the rock moved.
And previously, like I think probably either a couple weeks or a month before, he had said, Michael had said, I put on that tribute rock, an offering, and I felt the earth move, and I'm like going, there's no way the earth can move, it's like. And so then, as confirmation, oftentimes what'll happen, the phenomena will make it happen to you. So you confirm his story, so I don't know if it all sounds a little much for you. I don't know.
Oh no, it doesn't sound much at all. My husband and I hike in the woods a lot. Obviously, we hike in the woods to hike, but if experiences happen, and I always go by my intuition, I'll tell my husband, this area is feeling a little bit, not ominous, but there's just something about the area we're hiking in that's a little off or whatever, but let's go. And way before we get in the car, we grab our stuff, and before we even step foot on a trail or anything else, We literally tell them, thank you for letting us, be here. We do it every single time. My husband actually said the other day, he goes, maybe we should stop saying that so something could happen. But it's not. We do it all the time, and we don't necessarily have experiences when we're out, but
Right.
it's okay. That's to me, it's a gift. And for me to be able to go do those things and to maybe have experiences or whatever it might be, it's still my gift. And then when we get ready to leave, I say thank you, and I had a great time, or whatever it might be. And it's just being one with nature.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's fantastic, so yeah, no, it's amazing.
I think my landscaping guy thinks I'm crazy because he came here a few weeks ago and he like mowed down half of the wood line where we've had some experiences. And the first thing that came out of my mouth, and I was so serious because I am serious, was, oh my God, somebody's really not going to be happy.
Right.
And he just looked at me like, what? And I'm like, I looked at my husband and I said, he's not going to be happy. And my husband's like, yeah. And the guy's like, who's not going to be happy? And I'm like, well, Bigfoot is not going to be happy that you just took out like half his wood line. And he was like looking at me like I'm nuts. But I'm like, dude, you just took out his living room. Like,
yeah.
What else to say? Like
he sent me the photos and I said, did he say sorry?
Oh, and coming from gifting, talk about gifting. I've had people say to me, take out an apple pie. Like I think RPG said to me that I should take out a pie and leave it out there. And I'm kind of concerned because literally this is my backyard. Like this is no stretch of the imagination. Literally, it's my backyard. And I'm like, I'm kind of hesitant to put out anything because I'm leery about food. So like
because of animals?
Just because of him getting pissed off. Like if he gets used to me putting out food.
Oh no, are you kidding? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? You're gonna leave a pie? You're gonna turn that right around.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah.
Because he's not upset. I mean, he's kind of upset. He actually kind of scared the crap out of me a few days ago. I was out at the chicken coop and I'm not sure what he threw at me or threw in my direction, but it almost sounded like a gun went off. And I was like, is somebody, I'm like looking around and I had kind of hightail. I did what I had to do and I got out of there, but I was like, oh geez, he's really not happy.
Yeah. We've heard like it sounds like almost like boulders smashing on boulders.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Out in the middle of nowhere where there's no way. And it's like, yeah, that was one time. Oh, which there was another time in the mountain when it was just me and him and the dogs and one of our dogs for sure can see them. If you look at your dog, she can see them, and so she'll be staring at them like we were hammock camping, and then I'd go off, I guess, to the ladies' room out there in the woods, and the dog would go, you know how dogs are, they go with you, and then, but she went with me, and then she started looking at something in the woods where there should be nothing there, and then looking back at the hammock, looking at the woods, looking at the hammocks, like, Mom, get out, let's go. You know what I mean? That was definitely, and there's been other areas in which I noticed her and she's looking at something that we can't see. So that's another clue as to what's going on. But yeah, I would definitely do some gifting and just some talking, and then maybe hopefully things can get straightened out, and be on a more, because we didn't have that issue with tree sounds of things coming down,
Right.
And I think it's how you are a good neighbor,
Mm-hmm.
This is good information because I've only been doing this. Well, it's just been under 2 years since I saw my first Bigfoot. And then, so I'm kind of learning as I go, and I get into these conversations with people, because I'm like the woo person, I get this a lot. We're the wooers, and which isn't a bad thing, but
Well, the woo is where
Yeah.
it's at. Never mind.
I'm going to make a sign that says that the woo is where it's at. But I just, the experiences that I've had, I can't in any way, shape, or form put this in a flesh and blood creature. I just can't. I'm going where the evidence is taking me, and that's where the evidence is taking me, and that I don't have any other explanation for that.
Me too.
So so we have a question here from David Lester that says, what are your thoughts on portals? How do you think they travel from one place to another? Or do you think they stay in a local area?
I don't really know enough about I've never been through a portal, but so I don't really know, but I do get the feeling from going to different locations in Maine that definitely there are different. I'm not meeting the same individuals. I'm meeting different groups, but
Right.
This is going to sound so crazy. Okay.
Not on this channel.
Okay. It's just us, right? Okay.
Just lay it
Just
out.
us. Just a conversation, girl. You got this.
Okay. So I invited them. I said, you can come over to my house anytime. I mean, acting like it's, and so that's when the orb showed up. That's when things started happening here. So they can travel. How they do it, I don't know. I don't know how they do it.
Well, thank you for letting us know that, because now that we camp, we're going to be doing the same thing.
Yeah. And so yeah, I mean, but I would probably do better than what I did, because I didn't make any apple pies or anything like that,
Right.
I make a mean apple pie, and if I do make one, Gwen, I'll come on down.
Yeah.
Well, you should be here anyway. You haven't been here since August. I miss
Man,
you.
she's internet shaming me. Holy cow.
I'm internet shaming you.
Jeez.
Bigfoot misses you.
I miss you guys too. I know Bigfoot misses me. He loves me. He mimics Gwen's voice when I'm awake.
He does. He has. What are your thoughts on that? You talked earlier about him mimicking.
I was going to say that she talked about mimicking.
Do you think he could mimic people?
Absolutely. I have heard. As a matter of fact, they've mimicked Michael.
They've mimicked Gwen to me.
Yeah. Like I was at the same spot near the mountain. He was at the gravel pit. I was like at the stream, just kind of like after all, washing my face and doing all this stuff. And then I hear behind me, Kathy, it was him. And I turned around, there's nobody there. So
hey, David, not to cut you off, David, have Mel try to call that number back. There might have been a little glitch there. Go ahead with your story. I just needed to.
Oh, no, I just heard his voice right behind me, and he wasn't there, and he was like a quarter mile down the road.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. And it's almost like an audio recording. That's how good it is. It's like an audio recording of the person that their voice, and so it sounds like what do you do? How do you categorize this?
You can't.
So when it happened to me, I thought she was up. I heard her talk to her chickens. So I literally 3 seconds, not even 3 seconds, unzipped the tent to look at her and her chickens, and she's not there. And I was like, wait a second. I literally just heard her voice. And then I go over to her tent and I hear her snoring. Gwen doesn't snore, sorry. Gwen's sleeping.
You hear her sleeping.
I heard her sleeping. And I'm like, and of course, now in my brain, I'm like, did I just hear that? But I was wide awake. And I'm like.
And then she sat up and waited for me.
I literally, that happened at like 5:40 in the morning. And we only got 3 hours of sleep, maybe, because we just came back. And I was by the fire trying to read a book, looking around, like, what the hell's going on? For like 5 hours. Yeah. It was crazy.
No, I believe you.
And what I find kind of crazy is that now you've been doing this for 12 plus years. I've only been doing this for 2. You've been doing this for 1. And yet your stories, her and I are over here shaking our heads because we have had the exact same things happen. And
Mhm.
we're states away from where you are. So I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is insane. Like
But it's amazing validation
Yeah.
for the things that we've already experienced and in the short period of time that I've been able to be in the field. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
No, it's fantastic. It's great. And I had a little bit of trepidation about doing this, you know what I mean? Just because,
Oh, no way.
yeah, but then it's like, because I didn't know, it's like how open you guys were to hearing this kind of stuff. And even for myself, I usually, I don't know, I'm a little shy about that. But yeah, no,
We could and could be convinced at any point in time for a future date, if you would love to show us around Maine, and we could just, hightail it up there and come say hi, for a few days.
That would be fun. That would be absolutely fun. We'll have a, girls camping.
Well,
I would enjoy it.
And you're more than welcome to come down here to Pennsylvania and camp out in my yard.
I would enjoy that. I bring
never a dull moment here.
Yeah, so I love the mountains and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's her backyard. We could just sit there, and we've heard whoops from her fire pit.
Wow.
We've heard it is really intriguing and amazing. When we've gone to bed, things have walked around our tent. No one's up.
I always put out an audio recorder, and we leave it play all night long. So I get like everything. Like the same night that she heard my voice come from the chicken coop, I heard her giggle in the middle of the night. And I was like, so when I got up in the morning, I was like, were you giggling last night? And she's like, no. And I'm like, okay. It was on the audio recording, the giggle that I heard. And I was like, get out of here. Like they're loud guys.
He had been playing the didgeridoo, not on a real didgeridoo. So it was like this subpar. He made something out of PVC pipe. So it didn't sound all that great, but he was practicing.
Mm-hmm.
And so this one awful tone that he made, sorry, babe, but it was bad. And so anyway, so he'd been doing that for like a long time. But then like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm like dreaming or whatever. And then I hear this tone, the same kind of a tone. And then we had the auto recorder. It actually happened 3 o'clock in the morning, that same didgeridoo tone that I heard. I wasn't a dream, because why would I dream about the didgeridoo?
Right.
But yeah, the same type of thing. Like a sound taken from earlier in the day is played at another time in the middle of the night for no reason whatsoever other than fun, I guess.
Well, and I think that's what's interesting is because the same time Gwen heard me giggle, I'd never been to Gwen. So it had to, at some point in time, like heard us talking and me laughing or giggling or something in order for her to hear that, because I'd never been there before.
Yeah. May I ask you guys if you've had any very, very strange dreams that have accompanied your experiences at night?
Well,
sorry about the snoring.
Gwen has a whole storybook.
I write down everything. Everything that happens gets documented. I take photos of everything. Like I've got a well documented since for the last 2 years. It's insane. But I actually had a dream that I could not, for the life of me, understand. I had a dream that aliens. I had a dream I was pregnant, which absolutely can't happen because I don't have the factory for that. I haven't in 15, 20 years. I had a dream that I was pregnant and aliens came and took my baby from me while I was pregnant. And I woke up in the morning and I went, what did I drink last night? Oh my gosh, like this is horrible. I don't know what the hell that was, but
is that your puppies?
Yeah, I have puppies snoring. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
No, we love
snore.
Oh, you're not alone with the strange dreams, like the alien type dream and the baby type thing. I had something not quite like that, but a little bit similar. Very strange lucid dreams. Now we had a shared dream when we were out camping. It was quite cold in a gravel pit. and I had a lot of chronic pain at the time, so I was sleeping in a zero gravity chair, and I had a couple of puppies with me, and I was worried because it was so cold, so I had all the puppies bundled with me. And then I fell asleep, and then then I felt like there were I had my eyes closed, but I felt like there was a presence around me, like there were beings or something on like all sides of me. And then I was like, became aware, like, oh, the puppies that I'm holding, that's cute. Why would I say that about that? You know what I mean? That's cute. That's cute that I'm holding these puppies, you know. And then I felt like and then I felt like my whole chair being lifted up and carried up into the air. And so and I previously said, I had previously like just kind of like jokingly kind of communicated, I'd love to go see where you guys live. You know, that's what I was thinking before I went to bed. And so then I'm dreaming that I'm being lifted up in this tree, up in my chair, and just, you know, like kind of like this lucid flying over the trees type of thing. But what was very strange about this is that when I woke up, Michael said he had a dream. He got up in the middle of the night and I was gone. My chair was gone, and the dogs weren't with me. He thought he made me mad and that I had moved my chair behind our SUV. So that was his dream, that I wasn't there. And then he had this, he looked up in the sky and he thought he saw, I don't know, it was a UFO or something, a red UFO.
I also saw the 3 stumps in the pit.
And oh yeah, he saw 3 tree stumps kind of around my chair, looking down at me. He drew a picture of it. So he saw tree stumps.
That is insane.
I know it's insane.
Oh my God. I got chills.
So,
Yeah.
So we had a shared dream in which he saw some trees or tree-like beings looking at me, down upon me, and then he woke up again and I was gone. And then he saw this kind of strange looking UFO, what he thought was a UFO, and then he thought, you know, well, and then in a strange thing in his way, he thought, okay, I'm just going to go to bed. My wife's gone. There's a red UFO. There's tree people. I'm just going to go to bed. You know,
and wake up.
Yeah, wake up later, and I was like, no, I didn't move my chair. You know, it's like I told him my dream, but how strange is that?
That is insanely crazy.
I know,
but it's cool, but crazy.
Very cool. Very cool.
But we wouldn't like. This is not the normal. Like, in my house, I'm not usually dreaming like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you go into these places and you have these crazy type of dreams, you know, which makes me wonder about, like, you know, kind of like the magic of a dream world. Is that a place where they can communicate with you?
Right.
You know, you know, does it, I don't know. It almost,
you never know what like the elemental spirits
Yes.
can do while you're in their place, because you technically are in their place.
Right.
So, I mean, I think that if you can connect with them in the spirit world, why can't you? And dream world is kind of similar to that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to do some scientific experiments. I'll sleep the whole entire time I'm out there.
Sure you are.
I don't sleep that long, so it's very hard for me. Like, I'm a very early riser, and if I'm camping, it's even 10 times worse. Like, I can function on 3 hours of sleep and be happy.
Yeah. But that's not necessarily bad, because I think that opens you up to when you do fall asleep, you know.
Yeah.
I just get there faster, and I'm just tired, and I'm ready to, you know, enjoy my 3 hours of peaceful sleep. And I don't dream. So when I do dream, it's usually really vivid, and it's kind of an interesting, it's just different. I just don't dream. Everybody dreams, but I usually only remember 1 or 2 a year, literally.
Wow.
So, but this past year that since I've been doing this, there has actually been more times, and they're not odd. They're different. So it's cool. And I do the same thing Gwen does. As soon as I wake up, I write things down.
Yeah, because if I don't, I'll forget it.
Well, yeah, and I remember everything when I wake up.
Yeah, and I can't remember anything about it. It's like it just disappears from my mind. Like if I don't write it down or tell somebody about it right away, I will not remember it come lunchtime.
Yeah.
There's been a voice recorder right next to my bed for a reason.
Well, I'm not going that far. Nobody understands.
Well, I can't remember anything, and my brain runs way too fast for me to think about something in 10 minutes. I just can't do it. It never shuts off, so it's just constantly going.
Yeah. I'm lucky that way. My brain doesn't have constant thought. No, I'm a great daydreamer, and remember my
I need
dreams.
to practice that more.
Yeah. I know there's snoring.
I'm curious as to I'm sure you live in the country. You have neighbors.
Do I have neighbors? Is that what you said? Yes, I do. We do have neighbors. Do I like my neighbors? For the most part, yeah.
Do you do they experience any kind of the same things that you're experiencing, or you find that they don't?
I don't really talk to them about that. I don't. Because that's really most of our neighbors are like, well, half of them are Michael's family, like his sister and his nephew, and he talks to them about that. So I don't really talk to them about that. So he would probably be a better person to ask. And the other neighbor, I'm not really a fan of, so I don't talk to them. So.
That's okay too.
Get 4.
The reason I'm because it's like I asked my neighbor, did you see anything weird? Do you notice anything crazy going on? And of course, they all come crazy. None of them are having the same experiences as me. And I've been taking a lot more of a spiritual path. I've kind of gotten away from conventional church, and I'm doing more of a spiritual type of thing. So I've been wondering how much my experiences are because in tune with the spiritual side of things than normal, because my neighbors just think I'm a nutcase.
No, I would say that you're on the right path. I'd absolutely believe that's because you're more aware of it. You're being more in tune, with your environment, and just being on a more spiritual path. I think it does help, and I meet with some people. I started going to like this, doing meditation. I started learning about journeying, do the drumming and use the visualization. And I'm actually not that good at it. I'm better at like seeing something actually in the woods than I am about that. But yeah, all of that helps. And even ritual helps. Rituals, doing the offerings, being considerate when you're walking in the woods, and being aware of your impact on the things around you, and if we do have this being, this phenomena that is intelligent, that lives in the woods, then what is our responsibility to make sure that we're good neighbors?
Exactly.
So
right.
So if you're dealing with the thing that is very intimately intertwined with nature, then it only helps us to connect when we are also cognizant and aware that of our impacts, and to try to mitigate that as much as possible, so in my mind, I might be wrong, but I feel it helps.
No, I think you're 100% on key. I really do.
No, I think you are too. Has there ever been a time when you've been afraid?
I would say the first time. I'd say the first time I was, but I'm particularly I'm kind of a stubborn person. I don't like to be scared easily.
Mhm.
And to be honest with you, there was a part of me, and we all have this. There's always been like a painful experience in your life in which you felt like you've suffered so much that nothing else matters,
Amen.
And that's when I walked into those woods, having already experienced things that I didn't think I'd ever recover from. And so, what's this? I was all like, it was a brave in a way. You go there and you are willing to face something that is scary, that is unknown, that you don't know. But I just felt like I can't.
But your whole life you've been doing it anyway.
Yeah, my heart was already broken a long time ago. I know that was, I can take this.
I think it just depends on what demons you're fighting at whatever time, but you're 100% correct. I think that when you've fought in so much and you've survived,
yeah,
and that this isn't, and I also feel to the point is we're scared of the unknown. Not that it's threatening, not that it wants to hurt us, but it's unknown. And I mean, until we experience it ourselves, it's just unknown. That scares anybody.
And that's the thing. Now that I've had these experiences, it's the known that scares me. It's not this.
Amen to that. I'd rather sit in the woods every day, all day.
Exactly.
Oh,
I feel way more at home in the woods than I do anywhere else.
Yep.
True story. All right. Well, here. And watching, if you story like to share and would like to be on the show, feel free to send us an email at I'm not sure where the email is, if Brendan's going to pop it up or not. I got my email. It's Gwen P at
and she's breaking her. You're breaking up, girlfriend.
I'll get this internet. Am I? Okay.
There you go.
You might want to take us home. Am I good? I'm good now.
You're good.
Not? Okay.
Oh, there we go.
There's the email. Thank God for Brandon. Serious. I'm about spent for the. So, if you have any interesting stories or you want to appear on the show, give us a shout out at the CARCUniversal@gmail.com and someone will return your email. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button.
Like, share, and subscribe. That's really where
Yes.
Strange things happen.
And Gwen is gone. We really appreciate
I'm gone.
it. Wait, is she coming back? There she is.
Back.
See, it's never a dull
Before I
moment on our
completely
show.
lose my
Never.
internet connection. Yeah. Never. Thanks for tuning in. We have a great night.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks for having me.
We're very well. Come back again, please.
Definitely.
Yes.
Hey, this is Chuck Larson. You're watching the CARC channel on YouTube.
You've been watching From Behind Tall Trees, a Catskill Appalachian Research Collective production. For more information on this program and others like it, remember to like, share, and subscribe to CARCUniversal today. To join the conversation on our Facebook group, become a member of the Catskill Appalachian Research Collective Facebook group. CARC. Relentless.